90% of the cold emails hitting your prospects' inboxes today are absolute garbage. They are generic, poorly scraped, and painfully obvious templates generated by cheap AI tools that do nothing but burn through your domain reputation. If your current outbound strategy is exporting a messy list from Apollo, running it through a basic ChatGPT prompt to personalize it, and blast sending it via instantly, you aren't just wasting time. You are actively killing your company's email domains. The market has adapted. High-value decision-makers, CEOs, founders, and VPs can spot a lazy, automated email in less than 2 seconds. Enter Clay. It's currently the most hyped tool in the B2B SaaS space, marketed as the ultimate data enrichment and AI scraping powerhouse. Agencies and growth hackers claim it can replace an entire team of SDRs by building hyper-personalized outbound lists on autopilot. But today, we are skipping the marketing fluff. We are going to build a live, fully automated Clay workflow from scratch. More importantly, we are going to look at the massive setup flaw almost every creator ignores, the exact mistake that will land your expensive new outbound infrastructure straight into the spam folder within 48 hours. Let's find the brutal truth about Clay. Before we drop a single API key into the platform, let's understand what Clay actually is. Clay is not an email sending tool. It is an intelligent data aggregation layer. Think of it as Excel on steroids, connected to over 50 data vendors simultaneously, like LinkedIn, Apollo, Hunter, and GitHub, plus native OpenAI integration. Instead of paying 5 different subscriptions for data scraping, email verification, and AI writing, Clay lets you waterfall them into one unified dashboard. Here's the promise. You give it a basic company name, and it will find the decision maker, scrape their latest LinkedIn post, verify their direct corporate email, and write a hyper-personalized opening line based on their recent career history. But here is the first truth no one else tells you. Clay is expensive. It operates on a credit-based system. If you run a messy setup where you look up a person, find their email, verify it, and run an AI prompt on every single row without filtering, you can easily burn through $100 in credits on a single poorly targeted list of 1,000 people. To make this tool profitable, your workflow needs to be ruthlessly efficient. Let's build the workflow. Step 1 is the foundation, your source list. Most people import 10,000 random leads and start enriching everyone. That is a credit-draining disaster. Instead, we start with a highly targeted smaller list, say 500 tech founders in the UK who have raised funding in the last 6 months. Once we import this basic data into Clay, our first micro step isn't finding emails. It's creating a strict filtering engine. We use Clay's native Apollo or LinkedIn integration to check 2 specific data points before we do anything else: current headcount growth and keyword matching in the company description. Why? Because if the company is shrinking or doesn't actually match your ideal customer profile, you want to kill that lead immediately. Inside the table, we write a simple conditional formula. If company size is less than 10, or if the keyword SaaS is missing, stop the workflow. By implementing this single filter right at the beginning, we immediately eliminate 30 to 40% of irrelevant leads. You just saved yourself thousands of credits that would have been wasted on AI generation for people who would never buy from you anyway. Now that we have a clean, highly qualified list, we need to find their direct contact information. This is where Clay completely destroys traditional databases like ZoomInfo or Apollo used on their own. It's called data waterfalling. If you rely on just one data provider, your email find rate usually hovers around 40 to 50%. The rest are outdated or missing. In Clay, we don't settle for that. We set up an automated waterfall cascade. Watch how this works on screen. We configure Clay to search Apollo first for the person's email. If Apollo finds it, Clay stops and moves to the next row. If Apollo returns a blank space, Clay automatically passes that exact row to Hunter.io. If Hunter fails, it passes it to drop contact or find email. By stacking these data vendors sequentially, your email discoverability skyrockets to 80 or 90%. But here is the critical rule for this step. Never trust a found email blindly. Every single email found by the Waterfall must be passed through a strict verification step using tools like debounce or zero bounce natively inside Clay. Sending an email to a bounced address is the fastest way to get your domain blacklisted by Google and Microsoft. If the status isn't deliverable, we delete the lead. Period. Now for the magic trick, hyper-personalization using AI. Most people use AI to write generic compliments like, "I saw your website and I love what you are doing in the space." That sounds like a robot wrote it, and executives delete it instantly. To stand out, your AI needs to reference specific, unfakeable data points. We are going to instruct Clay to scrape the prospect's personal LinkedIn About section and their company's latest press release or funding news column. Here is the exact prompt blueprint we use to keep it authentic. You are an elite research assistant. Review the provided LinkedIn bio and recent company news for prospect name. Identify one specific strategic priority or challenge they are currently facing based on this text. Write a single, concise sentence connecting this priority to why they might be looking to scale their infrastructure. Do not use corporate buzzwords like game changer, revolutionary, or streamline. Keep the tone casual, professional, and direct, under 15 words total. Look at the output columns populating right now. It doesn't look like an AI template. It reads like a human spent 10 minutes researching their profile before hitting send. This is how you drive 20% reply rates. But all of this data brilliance is completely worthless if you make the absolute worst setup mistake in modern outbound sales. When people see how fast Clay can generate 500 hyper-personalized leads, their immediate instinct is to sync this list straight to an email platform and blast all 500 messages out tomorrow morning from their main corporate domain. If you do that, you will completely destroy your domain. Google's spam filters look for sudden spikes in outbound volume and identical sending patterns. If your main domain suddenly goes from sending 20 emails a day to 500 automated, AI-heavy tracking emails, your domain reputation will drop to zero. Your regular business emails to actual clients will start going straight to spam. To use Clay safely, you must build an insulated outbound infrastructure. You need to buy separate secondary domains that mimic your main brand name. You must warm them up for at least 14 days using platforms like SmartLead or Instantly, and limit each inbox to a maximum of 30 emails per day. Clay is the fuel, but your email infrastructure is the engine. If the engine is broken, the quality of your fuel doesn't matter. Building and managing this entire architecture from scratch can be incredibly complicated if you don't have a blueprint. If you want to skip the trial and error, download our complete step-by-step cold outreach infrastructure setup guide, alongside our custom Clay automation workflows. Head over to istartfromzero.com right now. We have mapped out the exact frameworks, API integrations, and domain setup protocols we use to scale outbound systems without getting blocked. Drop a comment below with the specific tool you want us to dissect next. Hit that subscribe button, and remember, look past the marketing hype, because we're here to give you the real truth about tech. See you in the next video.